Now when it comes to golf clubs, it's often the big four manufacturers of Ping, Titleist, Callaway and TaylorMade that often steal the limelight. And while these companies do make very good golf clubs, it's important to recognise there are some other brands and models out there that don't get the plaudits they deserve. So in this video, I'm going to speak to two of our main golf club testers here at Golf Monthly, Joe Ferguson and Sam Diath, who are going to talk us through the 5 most underrated golf clubs of 2025. It should be an absolute cracker. Let's get into it.
Right, so the first underrated club I want to talk to you about is the driver, and I've picked the Tour Edge Exotic C725. Now, Tour Edge wasn't a brand I knew that much about before I joined Golf Monthly, and the more product I've received from Tour Edge, the more impressed I've been by whatever they seem to create. And they seem to do it at a very affordable price point. Now this driver comes in around $399, £379 if you're in the UK. And for that, you get an awful lot of product. I'm gonna start with the looks, because I think this is a fantastic looking driver. From the crown, we've got this split crown. So we've got a carbon effect main body with a slight banner strip at the front and quite minimal branding. We've just got that 725 looking at the ball and allowing you to center it. And from the sole, again, the sort of minimal look, which I always look for, is very much there. We've just got a 2-color scheme. We've got black and we've got a little bit of light gray writing in the graphics. Now, on terms of the performance, what we've got is severe adjustability. So we've got a back weight that's on a sliding rail, so we can move CG and create a left to right or right to left bias. But we've also got another interchangeable weight with that at the front, so you can switch those around. We've got 15 grams and we've got 5 grams, so you can make it a low spinner, or you can add a little bit more forgiveness and MOI. On top of that, we've also got the loft sleeve, so you can move it up and down in loft, play with face angle to get exactly what you want. Now, in testing, performance-wise, in terms of ball speed, this was absolutely comparable with drivers that cost up to $200, $250 more. It was incredibly competitive there. But what stood out to me most about this driver and why I want this as my most underrated driver of 2025 is the consistency of the product. A lot of times when you go down in price point, you can see some good numbers, but they can be a little bit sporadic. The spin ratios, or the sort of differentials between the spin on this driver, from my bottom strike to the ones off the top edge to the center, was so tight, and the ball flight was so predictable. For the price tag, in fact, not even for the price tag, just as a standalone product, that is absolutely fantastic, and that's why it's my most underrated driver of 2025.
Right, okay, so Sam, you head up our testing of fairway woods, hybrids, wedges and putters here at Golf Monthly. What is the first club you've picked as one of the most underrated of 2025? And can you explain why, please?
So for me, in particular when it comes to fairway woods, the Srixon ZXi is, I think, the most underrated fairway wood on the market this year. Srixon have flown under the radar for a while now, I think. And don't get me wrong, the ZX5, their last model, it didn't really quite do it, but this took my breath away when I first started hitting this. It is so fast off the face, produces a really penetrating ball flight, which is something I particularly like. But one of the main things I really like about this year is they've actually incorporated a adjustable hosel, which is the first time Srixon have done this on their fairway woods, and every other brand does it, and it's been crying out for it. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why they haven't been as popular. People like to tinker around with their clubs. If you're losing the ball to the right, you might want to bring the toe in and start it further left. So that's really, really nice. I love how it looks. You've got this matte finish, which a lot of people have gone to a gloss look again this year, but they stuck with matte. You do have this kind of double crown design on the leading edge here, which may divide opinion. I know a lot of people don't like that, but I think it frames the ball quite nicely, and if anything, acts as a nice alignment aid down behind the ball. I said,
let's see it in action, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely.
We talked about Srixon. They got maybe not loads of tour presence. Obviously, they have a lot of tour players that would use this club, but clearly it's really stood out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they've got and they've probably got guys that you don't really think about. Hideki Matsuyama, Shane Lowry, 2 giants on the PGA Tour now. You've got Brooks Koepka on Live, who's signed with Srixon. So they've got big names in their stable, and I think this is a product that the better golfer will love.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. And I mean, Srixon have had a great year this year with some of their players. hard to argue with shots like that, isn't it? God, I mean, that's got some presence behind it, that club, hasn't it? When you hit it, I mean, I'm standing quite close to you, but wow, that feels amazing. I mean, what's it like in the hand?
Yeah, like I said, it feels great off the head. It feels fast, and it's got this titanium construction. So while it does have some carbon fibre on the top here, it's not half as muted as the likes of your Callaway and TaylorMade this year. So it does have that kind of, I guess, tinnier, louder, higher pitched sound, which to me actually sounds quite powerful.
Yeah.
And so I love it. When it comes off the face, I think it feels great.
And how does it compare in terms of distance output to the big boys like your TaylorMade, your Pings, your Titleist, your Callaways?
Yeah, so I found during my testing this year, this was out there with the longest in terms of my carry. The spin was quite low, so if you're someone who struggles to launch the ball, especially off the deck, it may not be the right club for you.
Yeah.
But if you like Fairway Wood as an alternative option off the tee to driver, then this is a superb option. You won't lose any distance,
Yeah.
and hopefully you'll be able to find the fairway more often.
There you have it, some compelling arguments from Sam here for this first sleeper club of 2025, the Srixon ZXi Fairway Wood. Be sure to check it out if you're in market for a new club in that area of the bag.
Right, thanks for that, Sam. That's an excellent choice, but now we're moving on to irons. And what I've selected as my most underrated iron of the year is the Hogan Legend iron. Now, I was absolutely taken aback when I got these through. I think the blend of old and new in the looks is absolutely fantastic. We've got some old touches that I absolutely love, like these longer ferrules, which is a bit of a nod to yesteryear. This bit of knurling around the hosel here as well is very much a trademark of some older looking irons. But we've also got a really nice sort of contemporary modern shaping, and I think they just look absolutely fantastic. Now, I think they're possibly underrated in a way, maybe because of the lack of visibility. Now, Hogan is very much a direct consumer brand, so what that means is they're not necessarily out there in golf shops where you might see them all the time. So if you're not checking online or checking forums and things like that, you might not know these are available, which again, I think maybe might contribute to why they're underrated, but they are available and they are brilliant. What we've got is very much a player's distance iron, a hollow body, and they are packed with power. You get some serious ball speed off these, but they don't feel harsh like so many irons do that produce a lot of ball speed. They just melt into the face and seem to spring off. Now, the attention to detail as well here is brilliant. What you don't see all the time in some irons that are priced a little bit cheaper or more sensibly, they're around the sort of $900, £900 mark. So we are getting some good value here. Now these feature a brilliant sole. It's Hogan's V sole, which is a very low bounce trailing edge, but a very high bounce leading edge. So it's really good for turf interaction, and particularly for those of you who are prone to the odd fat shot. It slips in and out of the turf really well, but if you do hit it a little bit heavy, you've got that little bit of assistance of bounce, which is not going to be punished too severely. So when you consider the whole holistic package of some tremendous looks, some really solid feel and packed with ball speed and the attention to detail, I really think this is one of the most underrated irons out there.
Right, so Sam, for your next underrated club, I'm assuming it's going to be some sort of wedge, as we are faced with this sort of 40-yard, roughly, so pitch shot. What have you got for us?
Yeah, so we're building our way through the bag here, and we are on wedges. And for me, this year, the Cleveland RTZ wedges are just absolutely superb.
Yeah, so obviously we associate Cleveland with wedges. They make some very good wedges, but I think most people, when it comes to wedges on tour and at retail to a degree, most people immediately think of Titleist Vokey wedges. Obviously the SM10 is a very good wedge, but talk us through why you think RTZ in particular is underrated.
I think firstly they look superb, and I know you shouldn't necessarily buy a golf club off its aesthetics, but I just think this minimalistic look, it's, you know, there is minimal detailing. You've got the Cleveland logo and the RTZ logo there. You've got Z alloy on here, which is the metal use. It's a really soft metal, which gives you complete feel around the greens.
Yeah.
They come in 3 different finishes, which I really like as well. So you've got this kind of tour satin, which I guess is pretty standard. And then you have a black matte finish, and then you have a raw finish, which they call Torak. So that's the wedges that are used by the likes of Shane Lowry and Brooks Koepka on tour.
Yeah.
You've got precision milling the whole way across the face, which I think looks superb, as well as you know, has performance benefits, particularly when it's wet and you're looking for complete grip around the greens.
Yeah.
And there's a few different bounce and grind options as well. So I play the mid bounce and the mid sole in my 54. I use a fuller and higher bounce in my 50. And then when it comes to the 60, I really like that they have this new adapt grind as well.
Okay.
So it offers you full face grooves. So when I'm around the green, I like to put the toe down and you know, keep one a bit lower to the ground, but equally open the face up, slide across the ball, and those full face grooves enable me to do that without losing any spin where you might hit one, you know, slightly off the toe when it came to a regular wedge.
Yeah, and you can't get that with a Vokey wedge, can you? Those
No, so they do the raw option.
Yeah.
In terms of the finish, but yeah, full face grooves isn't an option they offer.
Yeah, well, let's see one here. We've got this pin about 40 yards away. Let's see.
I'll try and clip one in here. So this would be my 60 that I use here, and this is what I mean. I'm using the 60. It's a front pin, and I'm trying to generate quite a lot of spin. So I'm going to open the face up and try and slide across it.
And the conditions are pretty firm at the moment, so it'd be interesting
firm,
to see if you still can get that spin when the conditions are like this. Oh, you've nipped that one nicely. Oh, that properly grabbed to attention there.
Yeah, you can really see it, and that's what I love. I've tested this in plenty of different conditions now. I got these wedges at the start of the year when it was soft and wet, and I found that's where like the midsole and the 54 really helped around the greens. As we've got into summer, I've got 8 degrees of bounce on this adapt. I can open the face up on firmer turf and I still get the stopping power that I need.
So one of the best performing and feeling wedges on the market, and they're not the most expensive out there either, are they?
No, exactly. So these came to retail at £159, and I believe you can actually get them even slightly cheaper, around the 150, 130 mark now. So you're talking 40, 50 pounds cheaper than some of their, you know, main competitors. So I think that's a win in itself, but I think they look great, feel great, and they've got the performance to match. There
you go. So if you're looking for a new set of wedges in 2025, I think Sam has perfectly summed up why you should definitely consider the Cleveland RTZ. Might well save your short game. Right, so Sam, we're on the beautiful first green here at the Caversham Golf Club just outside Reading, and we're talking underrated clubs. So it makes sense to talk about a putter, which I can clearly see you've got one in your hands. Which particular putter would you class as being the most underrated of 2025?
Yeah, so I really enjoyed testing putters this year because there was so much variety in terms of head shape, face, and just overall design. And I think for me, this was the standout as the most underrated putter, but I also think Seymour themselves are an underrated brand. And so yes, this is the Seymour Mini Giant HTX. It's a fairly large mallet-shaped putter, and it does feature their really clever patented rifle scope technology here. So
made famous by Zach Johnson, of course.
Exactly, yeah, and
he still uses one.
Exactly, and when you think back, it's actually, I mean, it's mad to think that he is the only player that comes to mind using these putters, and I can't believe more aren't using it. A, down to the technology, but also how great they feel off this milled face here. So they're 100% milled, made in Nashville, Tennessee. They've got this large sweet spot on the face here, especially on this design with the larger mallet head, but you've also got 6 internal weights here, which are set around the perimeter. You've got 2 on the back here, 2 on the sole, and then 2 on the sides of the face here. So really high MOI, really forgiving, especially for a center shafted putter. I think they look great in the black, and the white alignment A's really stand out as well.
I agree. Well, let's see it in action. I'm liking the look of that stock grip as well. It looks...
Yeah, exactly. So as standard, this comes on the grip. This grip comes as standard, sorry. It's slightly larger and takes your hands and wrists out of place. So you really feel like you can just set the face up, be really diligent with your alignment in your setup with this technology here on the head, and then just rock the shoulders. So
well, you've talked the talk.
I have.
See if you can...
I've set myself up here, haven't I?
One in. There you go. So yeah, I think like the putter market is pretty congested, a lot of different brands out there, but Seymour, it's got that tour presence, that tour heritage, but the technology really works. It's pretty easy to grasp, and that head in particular I think is really good from all distances, especially long range. It's like super forgiving, so if you struggle with long range putts, that's going to help you out. Really good from short range as well, as Sam was just demonstrated. So if you're looking for a putter that sneaks under the radar, maybe one you haven't considered before, clearly, as Sam says, Seymour is a brand you should definitely look at, in particular this Mini Giant HTX. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed that insight from Joe and Sam about their most underrated golf clubs of 2025. And if you're interested in trying them out for yourself, I've put some handy links in the description so you can get your hands on them for the best price in your area. That's all from me here at the Caversham Golf Club just outside Reading. I'll see you next time.